Hello and welcome to my channel. So my name is Beth, I'm a recent fashion graduate in the UK, and today I'm going to talk about all of the crafty and fashion things that I want to make in the autumn and winter. I've seen this absolutely everywhere. Everyone's talking about all the knits they want to make for the autumn, and I thought, why not join in? So just firstly, this jumper that I'm wearing is a self-drafted raglan using the Drops alpaca and the Drops kid silk mohair. I did talk about this in my recent knitting podcast a bit more if you're interested, but this video is gonna cover crochet, knit, punch needle and then sewing projects. So obviously I'm a fashion graduate, so I do know how to pattern cut and sew and everything, and I have a lot of fabric that I want to make things with, but we just start off with crochet. So I will try and insert pictures on the screen of examples of things that I'm talking about from my Pinterest and stuff. But yeah, so the first thing I have been seeing everywhere and had never been sort of too, I don't know, interested in doing before, but it's tapestry crochet, and specifically wall hangings for tapestry crochet. So not too bothered about doing it on a garment or anything, but our house is currently kind of under construction, and I will be able to decorate my new room at some point soon, which is going to be really fun. And yeah, I really wanted to make some wall hangings, and again, I kind of specifically want to make some like game inspired ones. So I really want to make some Zelda ones, but kind of make them cute and maybe like hide that they're specifically Zelda, but like I would know that they're Zelda. Yeah, I was thinking of potentially knitting a Zelda jumper, but I think we're going to do the wall hangings and then see my opinions on that. But yeah, secondly, and this is a whip that I've been working on recently, if you've seen any of the vlogs you might have seen this, but it's the Hobby Cozy campaign. So I'm making this granny square patchwork blanket, and I am so excited for this to be finished because I literally want to get under it. Like, this is pretty hefty so far. This is made in the Friends Extra Fine Merino, and it is super soft, super warm. I absolutely love the colours, and like I said, obviously with the new bedroom, it's just like bedroom stuff and like home decor stuff, which I've never really been that fussed about before. Always kind of wanted to focus on garments, but I think now that the opportunity has come up, I am very excited by a lot of these different things. And then another whip which I want to finish off pretty quickly, which again you might have seen if you've seen the recent vlog, and I'm also doing a separate video on this which will be coming hopefully soon when I've finished it, is this houndstooth crochet jumper. So I will try and put some photos on the screen of the sort of jumpers that were inspiring me, but I just really loved like the textured feel, all the different colours. I was originally looking at doing this in knit, but obviously where it would have been like a fair roll, I didn't want to waste as much yarn by having to just do it that way. Anyway, so this is literally just crocheted in stripes, so you know, it felt like the yarn was going further, which is probably kind of wrong because obviously crochet takes more yarn than knit, but like it's whatever. Yeah, hopefully you'll be able to see some on the screen if I figure out how to do that. But yeah, really excited by this one. Want to have a nice big white chunky rib. Might even do it in knit and fold it over, because like I said, I obviously was inspired by knitwear pieces to make the crochet. But yeah, literally can't wait to wear this now. This is knit up in the Drops Charisma, which I have also never used before and really wanted to try out. I really love the colour range. I think sometimes like with Drops, some of their some of their yarns just are very muted and more natural tones, which is like completely fine, because I appreciate that people that knit and stuff want to wear more wearable things, but I just love colour, so you know, this was pretty good for me. And then lastly, I really want to make a nice big chunky granny square scarf, and I mean, this is going to take me like literally no time at all, probably just in black and white, to be honest, just something really nice, can throw it on like so over the top of this with a jacket or something. But I do have like so much yarn, it is actually bad, that I don't have access to right now, and once I get like hold of all of that, I might try and just make a couple with like scrap yarn just to use up some pieces. I mean, like in the UK in the winter, you are always going to need a scarf, it is so cold. But yeah, really, I can't even remember where I saw the one that inspired me. I think it might have been on Meg Hughes' YouTube. She literally had it like in the background of one of her shots, just like hanging up on the door. I was like, I want to make that specifically. But yeah, anyway, on to the knitwear. So if you've seen any of the vlogs, you've seen me working on this self-drafted raglan as well. I haven't got much further with this because I had other things, and I had to order more yarn, which, oh my god, I'm so relieved, matched, even though it was a different dye lot, so I was really stressed about that. But yeah, this is just knit in the Drops Muscat, so this is just cotton, and then it's got the Pearl Bump Rose for the primary colours. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about this too much because I've already shown it elsewhere. I also really want to make a jumper using the Drops Air as a base. I've never used that yarn before, but it just looks really like fluffy and nice, and then hold it with the Drops mohair as well, using so Lana Del Rey's album Lust for Life. I'll try and put a photo up of it here, but using the colour scheme from that, because I just think it's like absolutely beautiful, and holding like a white strand of the Drops Air and then the colours in the mohair. And I've really been loving these kind of like fluffy mohair gradient kind of jumpers, and yeah, so kind of this kind of jumper with the Lust for Life colours I really want to make. Really nice and oversized and just soft, and yeah, we love Lana, so kind of had to get her in there. Also in my knitting podcast, I talked about how I was sent yarn from We Are Knitters, and I would really like, actually it's actually in here, let me show you. It's the petite wool, and it's this like cream colour with orange and blue kind of running through it. I really want to make a big chunky turtleneck with this. Yeah, obviously I did talk about this in my knitting podcast, so don't talk about it too much, but yeah, just something really big. I mean, like, this wool is quite thick. It's actually not like really thick, but if you think like what I mean like with the turtleneck is like a roll down turtleneck, so it's like double layer, so that is going to be mega thick. Sort of like, I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram, but if you do, the yellow jumper that I did for my final collection for uni, kind of like that. And then I'm not sure, I might just leave the rest of the jumper plain, or maybe chuck in some cables, see what we're feeling when I actually make that. I would also like to make a vest, a knit vest. So I did not think I was a vest wearer, to be honest, but I have just seen people wearing them like left, right and centre, and I think they're so nice as like a layering piece with like a long skirt or whatever underneath it, like a long sleeve top, and obviously they're a project that works up way quicker than a jumper. Like, I always have a million things, a million whips on the go, so hopefully a vest is something that I would be able to finish up with a bit quicker. Not really sure yet exactly on the design, but I know I definitely want a v-neck. I want a nice rib section and rib around the arms, and maybe quite a big rib section at the bottom of the body as well. But I don't know what colour or anything yet. This is just like an idea that's kind of floating around. So I've surprised myself. I pretty much always self-draft my patterns. It's not often that I follow a pattern from somewhere else. Sometimes I'll look at things for references, for techniques, you know, if there's specific stitches or whatever. But typically I do make a lot of them. As I said, obviously I did do fashion design degrees, so this is literally what I've been learning for 3 years, is like how to make clothes that fit me. And knit is sort of no different, as long as you can get a gauge swatch and you understand sort of like body measurements and stuff, you're completely fine. But there is my favourite things knitwear pattern I want to try, and there is a petite knit pattern that I want to try. I have never done it from either of them. Oh, and I guess Rose as well. But anyway, firstly, and this is what surprised me, I really want to make camisole number 9. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'll put the picture up here. Everyone's been making this over the summer. I have literally seen it all over YouTube and Instagram, and I didn't think something this basic would interest me, but I think that's almost why it interests me. I really want to make this in like a really fun, bright colour, and I just think like in the winter this will just be such a fun layering piece, especially like under a cardi or like a jacket. Obviously it's a bit warmer than a normal tank top because of, well, whatever you choose to knit it in. And I've also never used, is it Suniscan? No, it's Knitting for Olive that I think they recommend, and I've also never used their yarn or anything either, so I think that would be really fun, like trying out two at the same time. And then with petite knit, I'm probably really shooting myself in the foot here because this is one of the highest rated like difficulty levels on her website, and all I ever hear when people talk about this pattern is like, I hate it so much, like I want the finished object, but like it's so hard to knit. And please forgive me for getting the name wrong, I'll put it on the screen. I'm pretty sure it's the November sweater or jumper, basically not the jacket one. Oh wait, is it the Jenny jacket? I can't remember. I'm just going to put a photo of it on the screen, but it's this guy. And the thing that really puts me off with this is that it's bottom up. I don't know why you would want to do a bottom up raglan. If you're doing a raglan, I feel like for me the whole appeal of doing a raglan is you go down. The thought of doing the sleeve, the body separately and then connecting it here and decreasing, I just think that sounds disgusting. But I love this stitch. Tiffany Lou's like cardi version of this in the bright white is what sold me. It is gorgeous. I really want to make this in like a bright red, like a bright orangey reddy kind of colour, a bit fluffy. I think that would be so nice. It is just gonna kill me. I'm already dreading making it, but I'm so excited about wearing it. So, you know, you see the problem. And as well, I can't remember exactly what wool the pattern recommends, to be honest, but I really would love to try Suniscan, and I love some of the colours that they do. I think it's one of them's poppy, and whatever the bright reds and oranges are, like obnoxiously bright, that's what we want to go for. And then the rose jumper I was talking about actually wasn't on my list, but I did just remind myself about it. I literally can't remember the name. We'll try and put a photo here. I have loved this for so long, and this is always something that I thought, like, when I know how to knit properly and when I'm like blah blah, I'll do this, and I've just never gotten around to doing it. I think the problem with me with patterns is that, like I said, I like to self-draft a lot of things. I like to just make things on a whim, and committing to buying that much yarn for someone else's project and know how much time you're committing, because like those two, like the petite knit one and the rose one, they are not going to be quick by any means. They are very big commitments. Yeah, I think that's just what kind of puts me off, because I always work on like so many little different things at once. But I mean, to own these pieces would just be so worth it, I think. And it's like mid to late September now, so now is the time that we want to be making jumpers, because I always make the mistake that I make them too late. Like this, I started making in January and then just didn't bother finishing it until the summer, because it was like, well, I'm not gonna wear it anyway. Like even today, it's a bit hot to be wearing this, but I just wanted to flex it a bit. But anyway, next, what is next? Okay, this is really vague. I really want to knit something black. I always knit in like colour or crochet in colour or whatever, which I'm sure you can tell, and I absolutely love it. But sometimes you just do need a basic. But I would not want to do anything textured, no cables, no nothing. I would literally just do it in plain stockinette, because obviously you cannot see what's going on anyway. But yeah, just really want a nice basic knit. Not sure yet if I want to do a jumper or a cardi, because I feel like I always make jumpers and then I always want to wear a cardi, like if I've got like a cute little top on underneath or something. But I think as well with something that's black or more muted, like what I'm wearing today, greys, etc., I can actually wear that kind of thing to work. So it makes sense that I start making some more basic pieces, even though all the bright colours excite me, because there will just be things that I can get so much more use out of than, let's say, something like this, which we love, but she's maybe not so work appropriate. I guess it depends on the job, but whatever. I also, once I get back to my knitting machine, because I basically don't have the space to set it up at the minute, but I do also machine knit, I really want to make either a maxi skirt or like a midi skirt or dress. Probably a skirt, to be honest, for the meantime, with this yarn specifically. So I started making panels to basically make a jumper, like a cropped little jumper with this before, and I can't even remember. I think these just weren't the right size, and then I put them aside and never touched them again, which is like a common occurrence for me. But I think this would be so nice as like a long skirt. This is, what yarn is this? This is the James C. Brett double knitting. So this is an acrylic on wool blend, I believe, which don't love so much that there's the acrylic, but I saw these in Hobbycraft like months ago and the colours just sold me. I thought they were so nice. And yeah, anyway, I think another reason I didn't get back to this was because it had the blend of wool. I didn't want to make this to wear over the summer because I thought that was just going to be really sweaty, to be honest. But now that it's getting colder again, I think this would just be so nice. Like, I love a long skirt and a long dress. I literally live in them. It makes sense to make one. Then I also, another thing I spoke about in my knitting podcast was making the full length zip up, I don't even know what you call it, just a zip up, I guess, like cardigan jacket thing with the drops flora. I'm not going to talk about that too much because obviously I spoke about it there, but yeah, just a really nice grey long sleeve zip up situation, again suitable for work, that sort of thing. Nice big rib section on the bottom, nice big ribbed neckline up to like here, that you can kind of like wear open and fold down. And then I got two more knit things. This is a lot. This is very ambitious. Obviously I will not ever be able to make all of this, but anyway, I have been absolutely loving, these have kind of been popping up for me everywhere, is these colourwork knit jumpers with these like disjointed stripes. I don't know how else to describe them. There's kind of like a bit of a stripe and another bit of a stripe, and they kind of go down in this repeat pattern. But all of the colour combinations I've absolutely been loving. On Instagram, what Lydia makes, she has like a t-shirt kind of version of this, and I think she posted a version that someone made of her pattern or something, but it just was so beautiful. And I have actually never done knit colour work by hand because I have the knit machine. I tend to knit a lot of my fur out there because it is just so much easier. But I would love to try colour work by hand. I know, again, this is something that's super time consuming, but I just think the payoff is amazing. But again, I would want to make this super duper bright, so we shall see. And then lastly, for the knit, you'll be pleased to hear, I really want to make an all over rib jumper. So obviously blocking is going to be essential for this one. But yeah, just a really nice all over rib, probably like a drop shoulder, and potentially like a 2-colour. So not necessarily two-tone brioche because I'm not sure that I want to commit myself to that, but just like a 2-toned rib. Yeah, like I said, I'll try and put in some photos. I walked past a shop the other day and there was one that was just beautiful, and again, just been seeing these everywhere. Would love to own one. But yeah, that is all of the knitwear. And then for the punch needle, I guess this is mainly one thing, but like maybe two. So I make punch needle rugs. If you guys don't know, probably not, but I have photos of them on my in my Instagram. If you're interested, I'll also pop some on the screen. But I've done cows before, I've done butterflies, I've done like just squiggles and whatnot. And I have another idea for another one. As I said, the room decor is coming in strong because I literally can't wait. But I want to do like a flat, like floral one, but with really like nice big graphic sort of flowers on like a black and white grid background. So I don't want to get into this too much because I do also want to film like a process video on the punch needle rug situation, and they also take me like so long. Each bigger rug, which this would be the bigger size, probably takes me like a good 40 hours at least. But I do also have, so if you don't know, for punch needling you use a fabric that's called monk's cloth, yeah, don't know why I struggled there. But you basically get wooden frames. One way you can do this is if you go to the charity shop and just buy like canvases, like just like photo canvases, and you just rip off the canvas, and when you're left with the wooden frame, you basically stretch the monk's cloth around it and staple it down. So I have enough for one big rug left, and then I kind of have some like little offcut pieces. But I mean, punch needle I guess primarily is like a form of embroidery. A lot of people when they get into making rugs do buy a tufting gun and don't do it by hand. I'm just crazy and I'm gonna do it by hand anyway because I can't afford a tufting gun and I actually enjoy it. But yeah, anyway, I do have some smaller offcut bits that I might also use for some more wall hangings to go with the tapestry crochet, but we shall see what is left over. I also think these are a really great way, oh my god, struggling here. These are a really good way to use up scrap yarn. For me, I have a lot of acrylic sat around, and obviously the most sustainable material you can use is material that you already own. I don't want to waste any of it, but I also don't particularly want to wear the acrylic necessarily. I don't mind it for some things, but especially with knitwear, I think for me, if I'm spending like 30-40 hours plus on a piece, I want it to be like in a more luxurious and nice fibre, something more natural. I don't mind crocheting in acrylic so much because say things like my granny square jacket, that's not so close to the skin. It's not, yeah, I don't know. I just think I like to use my acrylic for the rugs basically, and because with the new floral design I want to do, I want all different kind of flowers, so like all different colours, so it's kind of perfect to utilise that. So lastly, onto the sewing section. So I have been seeing everywhere the jumbo scrunchies, and like, this is no hate to the brand that was selling them. I went to buy one and they're £65 for a scrunchie. No way. And then I found a couple small businesses that were selling them, and even then they were like 25. And like I said, completely no shade. I understand being a small business that you need to price things how you need to price them. You know, cost of materials, time, labour, blah, blah, blah. But I have the skills to make them. I'm not going to buy them. And I have loads and loads and loads of fabric and loads and loads and loads of fabric scraps. When I was at uni, I ordered a lot of fabric samples from a website called Minerva. If you guys want to do online fabric shopping, they're really great. And essentially, when you ordered the samples, so you did have to pay for them. It wasn't much. It would be like, I don't know, like anywhere between like 10 and 80p, depending on what the fabric was and how expensive the fabric was. But instead of just sending you like a little like piddly amount, like this much, they would basically give you a 10 centimeter like width of the entire thing of fabric. No, the other way around, I guess. A 10 centimeter length of the entire width of the roll of fabric. So you'd end up with, if the fabric was like 1.40 m or whatever, which is pretty standard width for fabric, you would literally end up with this entire like length of sample, which I have kept all of them. And that sort of thing I think would be perfect to make scrunchies, because I was going to sew them together and kind of make some patchwork stuff, but I think this is another really fun way to use it as well. Also, when I was at uni, my university got donated a lot of dead stock fabric and all that sort of good stuff from various fabric companies. So when I was in my second year, we got a whole mix of things. I mean, the selection was fab. There was some like Victoria Beckham in there and just like really random stuff. I couldn't even tell you where any of it was from, because they literally didn't even know. The rolls would just come in, and we basically donated a certain amount, and then you got a certain amount of meters of fabric per student. But this year, well, I say this year, in my third year, I have graduated now, the donator was Burberry. So I really am grateful to have a couple meters of Burberry fabric. I have a couple of different ones, but what I would really, really like to make, and this is something that I was actually looking at buying, obviously not a Burberry version, just like a normal version of like a really nice big like trench coat, sort of like camely beigey colour. I really love them, and I pretty much have this colour fabric spot on in the Burberry fabric. So again, hopefully I can get some photos up on the screen. I really want to make myself the trench. The only thing is that the Burberry fabric is a bit thin, and if I interface the whole thing, then I'm gonna have to line it, and I don't have a problem with lining it, but it's so fine, or like so thin, that my lining fabric would have to literally be so thin, because you want your lining fabric to be like thinner than your outside fabric. But yeah, we need to work that out. But again, I kind of would like to film the process of that, pattern cutting it from start to finish, making it to measure. Obviously, well, not obviously, but I'm quite short. I'm like 5'2", so normally buying long things like that, they swamp me. So making it to measure, I think, is gonna hopefully avoid that problem. I'd love to do it like double-breasted, have nice big chunky belt with it. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, like I said, as soon as I can move home, I have access to all of this stuff. I have an industrial sewing machine and I just want to use it so bad at the minute. But next, I mean, I already own a lot of these, but I wear them all the time, so I would like more, is like these tiered skirts and dresses. These are actually so simple to make, if like when you know how to make them. And I've got so much fabric sat around that I can use for this. I literally wear them all the time. I have a lot of like midi sort of things, so I would like to make some more maxi things, because I guess I'm kind of a bit picky when it comes to midi stuff. I do have a few skirts that are like just under my knee, and it's like, it's not quite long enough for me. I only really wear them with longer boots. I feel like it cuts me off in a weird place because I'm so short. I think they need to be longer. I'm like really conscious that it's about to rain, so we're gonna like speed through these last couple. I really want to do some quilting. I started a Spider-Man quilt for my baby brother and it is packed away somewhere from moving, so I'd really like to finish that. And not only that, I really want to make a quilted jacket or vest situation. Again, been seeing these everywhere. I love the little ties at the front, or even like a zip up if it was a jacket. But yeah, again, obviously got so many scraps of fabric and offcuts and stuff that I think I could make a really cool patchwork situation, as I was saying with the scrunchies, with the samples and stuff. And then lastly, I do also have some like wool blend fabric left over. We had to do like a tailoring project at uni that specifically used wool and various other things. I really want to make myself a nice like wool coat with like a collar and lapel, like not so much as long as the trench, but this sort of similar vibe. Hopefully you can get some photos up on the screen. But I mean, these designs are more going to be led by the fabric that I already own and making it work. The only thing I would really consider buying is, well, I'm going to need interfacing for sure, but potentially lining fabric. I don't really remember how much lining fabric I have, but I know that I have a lot of random other fabric, and like this isn't everything I want to sew. I really want to make some different dresses, and I want to make myself some trousers, because trousers never fit me when you're this short. Even when I like, Zara is the worst. Okay, this is like a little side ramble. I can deal with taking up like trouser hems because you just fold it in, sew it down, no problem. Why are the crotches always like this long? I get it's high-waisted, but I literally look like Simon Cowell, and I'm not paying full price to then have to take something home and alter it. I'd just rather make it myself if I've already got the fabric at home. I mean, I would love to make myself some jeans, so maybe we will invest in some denim, but that's not going to be anytime soon. Like I said, I don't even have access to my pattern cutting stuff, let alone the sewing machine. And well, obviously if you saw my recent vlog, I did use a sewing machine, but I don't have the space to pattern cut right now, so that would be a whole nother thing. Probably need some calico for some twirls, but I'm just rambling now. Anyway, so that is kind of all of the trends and all of the different pieces that I'm really interested in making soon. There is no way in hell, no way that I'm making all of this, but this is just something to hold myself accountable. I have been really good and like working on things really consistently recently. I say as if I haven't started a new whip, but like it's fine. But yeah, hopefully you want to follow along and subscribe. I am really hoping to try and film as many sort of progress videos as possible. I always see like people that knit that want to start sewing, I think are always so scared to start sewing, and I do get it, but I think I'd really like to film a lot of my progress videos of sort of pattern cutting and how you can make things to measure and construction orders, and just as I'm making things, maybe giving some advice on how other people can make things that they really love and will wear. Because I think that's the thing, there's nothing worse than spending hours making something and then being like, well, this doesn't fit me properly, so I'm literally never gonna wear it. But anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more, and don't forget to leave a like. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's the same name, at fashionedbybeth. I also sell crochet patterns on Etsy. I have 2 cardies and a jumper, which I will also want to be adding to. I did have a bit of a ramble about that in my recent vlog. There's a lot more patterns that I would like to bring out, which I guess I'll probably end up writing more along with all this other stuff that I want to make. But yeah, hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.